Lieutenant Kale adjusted his console for the third time that shift, trying to ignore the presence that had become both a distraction and an obsession. Nyara leaned against the doorframe of the navigation bay, her orange skin practically glowing under the ship's sterile lighting, blonde hair cascading over one shoulder in deliberate disarray. "Still checking those calculations, Lieutenant?" Her voice carried that musical lilt unique to her species, the Villani. "I ran those numbers an hour ago. Perfectly accurate, as always." Kale kept his eyes on the screen. "Verification protocols exist for a reason, Officer Nyara." "Officer Nyara?" she mimicked, pushing off the doorframe to saunter closer. Those violet eyes sparkled with mischief as she circled his station. So formal, so rigid. Do humans ever relax, or is that stick permanently lodged? He'd crept up his neck. Some of us take our duties seriously. And some of us can do our duties and have personalities. She reached past him, unnecessarily close, to tap a screen. Her scent, something like cinnamon and starlight, invaded his senses. "See? All correct. Just like I said." Kale's jaw tightened. 3 months aboard the Elysium with Nyara as the Villani liaison officer, and every shift followed this pattern. She'd find him, tease him, laugh at his composure, then drift away, leaving him unsettled and distracted. Command had praised their excellent cooperation, but they didn't see how she deliberately brushed against him during briefings, or how her gaze lingered when she thought he wasn't looking. "Your precision is impressive," Nyara continued, her tones softening slightly. "Almost as impressive as how you pretend not to notice me." His fingers froze over the keyboard. Don't what? Notice the way I watch you? Notice how you hold your breath when I'm close?" She leaned down, her breath warm against his ear. "Notice how your pulse quickens right now?" Kale spun his chair to face her, finally meeting those impossible violet eyes. "What exactly do you want, Nyara?" Her grin widened, showing teeth slightly sharper than human. "I want to see what happens when that famous human control finally breaks, Lieutenant, and I think it won't be much longer." She walked away, hips swaying deliberately, leaving Kale staring after her with his heart hammering against his ribs. The recreation deck was nearly empty during Gamma shift, which is why Kale had chosen this time for his workout. Or so he told himself. It had nothing to do with knowing Nyara often practiced her combat forms here at this hour. He was halfway through his routine when she appeared, wearing training gear that left little to the imagination. The orange of her skin seemed richer somehow, her blonde hair pulled back in a practical braid that only emphasized the elegant lines of her face. "Fancy meeting you here," she purred, claiming the mat beside his. "It's a scheduled coincidence," Kale muttered, returning to his exercises. "Of course it is." She began her stretches, movements fluid and deliberately provocative. "So do you think about everyone the way you think about me?" Kale's form faltered mid-push-up. "I don't—" "Lie to yourself if you want, Lieutenant, but don't lie to me." She was suddenly there, crouching beside him, close enough that he could see the darker flecks in her violet irises. "I can read your body language. Villani are empaths, remember? I feel your interest every time I'm near. Your desire practically sings." He stood up abruptly, putting distance between them. "This is inappropriate." "Why? Because I'm honest about attraction?" She rose gracefully, stalking toward him. "Humans are so funny. You feel everything we do too, maybe more intensely, but you cage it all behind walls of propriety and duty. There are regulations that allow relationships between crew members of different species. Yes, I read them. Section 7, paragraph 3. As long as it doesn't interfere with performance, interpersonal connections are actually encouraged for morale and cultural exchange." Kale's breath caught. "You researched regulations about fraternization?" Her grin turned predatory. "I research everything that interests me. And you, Lieutenant Kale, interest me very, very much." Before he could respond, an announcement blared through the ship's comm system, calling all personnel to stations for a routine drill. Nyara's expression shifted to professional in an instant, but as she passed him heading for the exit, her fingers trailed deliberately across his arm. "Think about it, Lieutenant. Think about what you really want." The malfunction happened during their joint inspection of the lower decks, a routine maintenance check that both Kale and Nyara had been assigned to complete. The corridor's environmental controls stuttered, and suddenly the emergency bulkhead slammed shut, sealing them in a 30-meter stretch of hallway, bathed in the amber glow of backup lighting. "Perfect," Nyara said, though her tone suggested she found the situation anything but problematic. She tapped her comm badge. "Officer Nyara, to engineering. We're sealed in Corridor 7C. The response crackled with static. "Acknowledged. Pressure valve malfunction. We'll have you out in 30 minutes. Is the environment stable?" Kale checked his scanner. Oxygen levels normal, temperature slightly elevated but manageable. "Slightly elevated," Nyara repeated after the comm closed, a knowing smile playing on her lips. "That's what we're calling it." The corridor was warm, the amber lighting casting her orange skin in shades of copper and gold. Without the usual foot traffic and humming equipment, the silence between them felt heavy, charged. 30 minutes, Kale said, sitting against the bulkhead. "We should wait patiently." "Patiently?" Nyara laughed, settling beside him, closer than necessary. "When have I ever been patient with you, Lieutenant?" "Nyara, do you know why I tease you?" She turned to face him, violet eyes serious, for once. "It's not cruelty, Kale. It's not mockery." Hearing his first name from her lips sent electricity down his spine. "Then why?" "Because from the first moment I saw you, I felt something I'd never experienced before. Villani empaths sense emotions, but with you," she placed a hand over his heart. "With you, it's like touching starfire. Your control, your discipline. It's not coldness. It's a dam holding back an ocean." Kale's defenses, so carefully maintained, began to crack. "I can't, we shouldn't, can't, or won't, shouldn't, or don't want to." Her fingers traced along his jaw, and he couldn't suppress the shiver. "I've been honest from the beginning. I want you, Kale. I want to know what happens when you stop fighting what you feel." "And what do I feel?" His voice was hoarse. She leaned closer, her breath ghosting across his lips. "You tell me." The dam broke. Kale's hand slid into her blonde hair, pulling her forward, and when their lips met, it was like the collision of two stars. She gasped against his mouth, her empathic abilities flooding both of them with waves of desire, longing, and something deeper. Something that felt terrifyingly like belonging.
Time became meaningless. The amber-lit corridor transformed into their private universe, 30 meters of space where duty and propriety finally surrendered to the truth both of them had been dancing around for months. Yara was in his lap now, her hands exploring the planes of his shoulders, while his traced the fascinating contrast between the soft warmth of her orange skin and the silken texture of her blonde hair. Each touch sent feedback through her empathic sense, amplifying and reflecting their shared desire until Kyle couldn't tell where his feelings ended and hers began. "Is it always like this for you?" he murmured between kisses, his usual composure completely shattered. "This intense?" "Never." Her violet eyes were dark with emotion. "Empathy usually keeps me at a distance. Feeling too much from others can be overwhelming. But you," she pressed her forehead to his, "you don't overwhelm me. You complete me. Your control, your strength, your kindness, I feel it all, and it's perfect." Kyle's laugh was shaky. "I don't feel very controlled right now." "Good." She nipped at his lower lip. "I've been trying to break that control for 3 months. Do you know how frustrating it was? Every teasing comment, every accidental touch, every moment I spent trying to get you to see me, really see me, and you just kept being so damned professional." "I saw you." His hands cupped her face, thumbs stroking across those elegant cheekbones. "Every moment, every smile. I saw you, Nyara, and it terrified me because I've never felt anything this powerful. And now? Now I'm done fighting it. Done pretending I don't watch for you every shift. Done acting like my heart doesn't race when you're near. I'm yours. I think I have been since the first day you smiled at me." She shuddered, and through their connection, he felt her joy, her relief, her blazing affection. "I've been yours longer than that." The moment you defended that junior engineer from Commander Trace's criticism, so fierce and protective, I knew you were someone special. The comm crackled. Corridor 7C, this is engineering. We'll have those doors open in 5 minutes. They separated reluctantly, helping each other straighten uniforms and smooth hair. But something fundamental had changed. The distance Kyle had maintained was gone, replaced by a magnetic pull neither could ignore. "My quarters tonight?" Nyara asked, bold as always, but with a new softness. Yes. No hesitation. No second guessing. Her smile could have lit the entire ship. The bulkheads opened exactly 5 minutes later, and they emerged to find Engineering Chief Ramos looking entirely too amused for someone who just fixed a malfunction. "Everything stable in there?" he asked with a knowing grin. "Perfectly stable," Nyara replied smoothly, though her hand found Kyle's for just a moment before they parted to their stations. The rest of the shift was torture of a different kind. Every time Kyle looked up, he found Nyara watching him with an expression that promised everything he'd spent months denying himself. His work suffered. Numbers had to be checked 3 times, commands repeated, until finally his second-in-command suggested he call it early. He found Nyara waiting outside his quarters. "Thought you'd never finish," she said, pushing off the wall with that familiar feline grace. "I was beginning to think you'd changed your mind." Instead, he keyed open her door and pulled her inside. The kiss was different now, less desperate, more certain. This wasn't just desire, it was decision. They'd crossed the threshold in that corridor, and neither wanted to go back. "Stay," he whispered against her lips. "Not just tonight. Stay with me." Nyara pulled back enough to meet his eyes, her own shimmering with emotion. "You know what you're asking. Villani mate bonds are serious. If we do this, if we truly open ourselves to each other, my empathy will link us permanently. You'll never be free of me. I don't want to be free of you." Kyle brushed blonde hair from her face. "I want exactly what I've always wanted but was too afraid to reach for. You, all of you, your teasing, your boldness, your impossible confidence, the way you make me feel alive." "And I want your strength," she replied, her voice thick, "your kindness, your fierce protection of everyone under your command, the beautiful intensity you hide behind all that discipline. I want every part of you, Kyle." They came together again, and this time, when Nyar's empathic sense opened fully between them, Kyle felt the bond form, a connection deeper than anything he had imagined possible. Her joy became his contentment became hers. 2 beings, 2 species, separated by light years of evolution, finding perfect synchronicity in each other's arms. Later, tangled together in the dim light of his quarters, Nyara traced patterns on his chest. "So," she murmured, "was it worth surrendering?" Kyle caught her hand, bringing it to his lips. "Every defense I've broken, every rule I've bent, all of it was worth this, worth you." She grinned, that mischievous, teasing expression he'd come to love. "Good, because I'm never letting you go, Lieutenant." "Promise?" "Promise." She sealed it with a kiss, and in the vast darkness of space, 2 hearts found their home in each other.